Hello, folks. Welcome to Telling Tales. Welcome to Thursday nights. Time for a bit of Wicked Ones tonight. I'm very much looking forward to getting into things a wee bit now because we're 4 sessions in. I've described this as session 3 because we had a session 0 at the beginning just to confuse my brain. But it's helpful too, I suppose, because it was a non-play session. Anyway, so welcome to Telling Tales. Before I get into the roleplay stuff, we are Telling Tales. I've said that name like 3 or 4 times now. I don't need to say anymore. Telling Tales. We are a roleplay channel. We do all sorts of tabletop roleplay stuff, kind of dark fantasy style. Stream it here on Twitch and also put it up on YouTube. Everything we've done is on YouTube. I think I maths it the other day. I was like thousands of hours, probably not, but it's probably around the cusp of 1,000 hours, I reckon. So there's a lot of stuff on there. You should go check it out, as well as the previous sessions of Wicked Ones if you haven't already seen them. We stream this every other Thursday at the moment. The big work will be coming back on Thursdays at some point in the future for the other Thursday slot at some point. Mondays is Vassen by Johnny, run by Johnny, which is kind of cool British folk horror stuff. And Wednesdays is Simba Room, which we are very much enjoying. Has been running forever and is great, so check that out. And there's one-shots now and then. I don't know if the next one's been confirmed yet publicly, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it has been confirmed. I think it's called Grok with an exclamation mark and a question mark. It looks pretty fun. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, that's on November 12th, so come see that as well on here. Anyway, we're playing Wicked Ones tonight, which is Forged in the Dark, Evilness. You're playing the bad guys. We've already created the world a wee bit, and we've done a few bits of evil in it, and set ourselves up a dungeon. Wicked Ones is, as I said, Forged in the Dark system, Blaze in the Dark, that lot, same sort of thing. A quick warning before we get into it. You are playing the bad guys. We're playing it kind of comedy horror-esque. It's not full-on awfulness, but the characters still are awful beings. They will happily trick someone to stab them in the neck, as I think Steve's character did last session. So death, murder, gore, disemboweling, trickery, cruelty, might be a bit of torture, just evilness, all-round evilness to be expected. We're not going to go, overboard with things. We've got some lines and bails as well, which we discussed in the first video, if you want to go check those out if you're concerned. Anyway, let's get to things. So first of all, let's bring on John, who will describe character first and then do a bit of a background as to what's been happening. Hey, John.
Hello.
Yeah, so who are you playing and what's going on?
I'm playing Slee, who is a Slisek Shadow, which means they are a sneaky rogue, and they are a snake people, or Sneeple, as is commonly known. But a Sneeple with legs.
Yes, and arms.
And arms, yes. That would be quite difficult to stab people if I didn't have arms.
Yeah, that's true. But you do have other weapons too, so you'd probably get by either way.
That's true. Speaking of inflicting horrible violence, our story so far is that the quick count of how many people there are, 4 of us. I forget.
That's a very minimum level of memory for what's been going on here.
There's me and some other people. Whatever.
This is what the Slisek would be like, to be fair. There's also some other Wicked Ones. Don't remember how many or their names.
Yeah. We basically fled the failing dungeon of a nearby valley and came onto this beatific-looking land. Ate some random people, moved into some ruins, decided to turn it into a place of arcane power, or an enclave, as the game calls it, and started building a few minions' lairs, discovered an old octagonal library, which other people find interesting, but Slee less so. And then the local vampires body snatcher turned up to basically shake us down for half protection, not really protection, join us, you're weak and delicate, kind of thing. Killing him was unsuccessful, but then later recruiting him was successful. And then we decided to steal a boat because there's a big river, there's a wizard's tower in the middle of the river, and we needed a boat. So we attacked it, and now we have a boat.
It was pretty successful. Yeah, you managed to slaughter all of the people on the boat. I think there was one who tried to swim away, and Slee managed to do a feat of acrobatics to kill at the last moment. And lots of other dramatic deaths, such as the dwarf trying to tear his own eyes out after terrible secrets of the universe being revealed to him. It was fun. It was all-round fun times.
Yeah, after Beepo gave him a glimpse of the answers of the universe.
Exactly. Which you just should know, really. What's in that little kobold's head, eh?
Terrible things.
Terrible things. Yeah, that's a good intro. Speaking of terrible things in a small creature's head, let's bring on Chris.
Hello.
So yeah, why don't you give us a wee bit of an intro to Beepo and how they're feeling about what's going on at the moment.
So Beepo had a wonderful time last time, being just a little bit unhinged on multiple different fronts, and switching from crazed animal to deranged mystic and back again on several occasions, which I'm quite happy with how Beepo is turning out. Most of Beepo's kind of downtime last time was building a layer off the library, which they will be using for their horde, for their minions. Once we finally get enough time and XP and all the resources we need to build them out. So that's been me.
Yep.
How's Beepo feeling? Just, it's hard to tell. Lots of emotions. Most of them are different kinds of violence.
Yeah. And as described, Beepo is a very diminutive kobold mystic. I don't know what's the word for it in the game. I can't remember what it is.
Not Templar, is it? It's fanatic? No. Oh my god, why do I not have this written down?
No, it's all right. I can't remember off the top of my head either. It's basically the religious person who uses
zealots.
Rituals.
It's zealots.
Zealot. Yeah, that one. Yeah, good stuff. Cool. So next was going to be bringing on Sam. Hey, Sam, how's it going?
Hello.
Good. Do you want to tell us a bit about Osric then? How Osric's feeling about what's going on?
I think Osric is pretty pleased. It seems like at least we're making progress towards what Osric wants, which is going and taking the wizard stuff. That's what he's about. It may have just been a boat last session, but soon it will be powerful magical items that we can use to inflict horrible pain and suffering on people. So
exactly as it should be.
Osric's happy.
And Osric, you were an orc? No, were you a demon? I can't remember.
Demon.
Demon. You discussed those two. Yeah.
A demon warlock. We got the double demon squad.
Yeah, a little bit of double demon.
But yeah, interested in magical stuff. Bit of necromancy. It's what Osric likes.
Yeah,
and has befriended the body snatcher, which I think is very gonna be good for Osric. Feels like those two have aligned interests. So
it does, doesn't it? Yeah, I feel like the cackle of his now has started to warm your heart rather than frustrate you. Especially as he's drowning people in the water. Yeah, I feel like you got quite lucky with him that he was at least bored by the presumably very powerful and old but quite dull vampire who told him to threaten you.
Although there is now a little bit of pressure on us to actually, do something about this vampire and prove.
Why would the vampire have any amount of clocks ticked towards their vengeance upon you now that you've stolen one of their minions? That couldn't be right? You're muted, Sam.
Yeah, he already hated us, and then we stole his minion. I'm sure he's completely fine with all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
What level is he again? 4, 5, 9?
He's a 2. He's a 2.
Okay.
They only go up to 3 in this game, so tier 2 is pretty powerful still. I think you can have tier 4 of other things, but I think on the map it's only up to tier 3. Cool. Okay, last but not least, we'll bring on Steve.
Hello.
Hey, Steve. So, Steve, you play Tereth. How's Tereth doing? What is Tereth?
What is Tereth? Tereth is a demon conniver. I think Tereth probably has it more together more than I do. Words are hard tonight. You might have to assemble them yourselves. Yes, Terra's doing okay. Was pleased to be able to assist a couple of other members of the team last week by, allowing them to remember perhaps their own failings and using Tereth's advice, do rather better than perhaps they would have otherwise. So that's nice. Did manage to trick some people and stab one. Didn't do so well in convincing a trading party to deliver food at cost to Starvington in order to foment some sort of rebellion there. But early days. So.
Yeah. You still found out a little bit, and plans, maybe plans to come in future. And you got away without being harmed, which is always nice, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think I did scare the shit out of them as well. Hopefully, so it wasn't nice.
That is always satisfying, nearly as satisfying as tricking people into thinking you're helping them and then stabbing them. Cool, good stuff. Yeah. So as described, the dungeon is now stronger than it was, but we were chatting a bit about this before the stream. So for those who know the system a bit, we considered that it maybe was going to be a pillaging raid because you're kind of building up to a bigger raid on the tower. But the game kind of sets up the first raid of the game, which that one was. The first proper raid of the game should just be to get loot so you can get your dungeon tier 1, which is kind of the base tier of the game. So this is just that. And if you wanted to do a full-on pillage, which is like a big raid that allows you to reduce that faction's tier among getting loads of cool stuff. If you want to do that next to the Wizard's Tower, for example, or the Vampire, or anyone else, that's still got to be 2 parts. So this one is not part of it. Just to confirm for folks who are curious. But anyway, before we get into any of the dungeony stuff, we should have done it at the end of last session, but we were in a rush to finish up XP time. And now I'm going to be in the good old nowhere near the advancement section of the book. That's not advancement. Why is it taking me to Brain Eater? The advancement section. There we go. So we will do, this is advancement from basically the downtime last session until now. So you did the downtime actions and then you had the raid, and that's kind of the bit we're looking at. So these questions a bit. So I think we will have covered practice XP as they happened. I don't think anyone had reckless XP because no one got injured. Is that right? I think Slee was the only one who got close, but you managed to resist, didn't you, John? So you were okay. So it's just wicked XP. So basically 1 XP for each of these questions. Made progress on the master plan. Yeah. I think you did that, didn't you? I mean, you've upped your dungeon tier, so yes. So everyone gets 1 XP for making progress on the master plan. Jumped into someone else's dungeon scene. This doesn't have to be a dungeon scene. This could be kind of anything that's not part of the main raid. Can anyone think of stuff they added to other people's kind of events or scenes, or just stuff that you added to the dungeon itself? It's a bit tricky to remember, isn't it? But
you were all doing lots of stuff together last time. I was the only one who wasn't kind of out and about with people, wasn't I?
I was thinking Slee and Tareth went together, didn't you?
Yeah, I think Slee and Tareth. I think I did something. I did body snatcher stuff. I don't think I did other stuff, but Slee and Tareth definitely.
And I also really enjoyed the flavorfulness of you two being involved in the world and like the stuff with the gnomes. And so I think both of you can have an XP for the jump in someone else's dungeon scene bit. I like that because both of those encounters are really good. It's just me as a GM rewarding people for good stuff. Third one is you acted like a monster. I feel like I'm going to go around here because people might all have their own things to say. So John, Slee, did you act like a monster?
I drowned and possibly ate, I can't remember, a man that was actively trying to flee.
Pretty monstrous. It's true. I would agree that that is actively a monstrous thing to do. You get an XP for being like a monster, acting like a monster. Tereth. I already know what Tereth's one is because it's the one that's stuck in my mind above all the others. But I'll let you describe it.
Not your neck. Yes, I mean, obviously there was the fairly straightforward tricking people, luring them to their doom, and then stabbing them through the jugular. That's that's kind of common our garden monstery. I was hoping that the stuff with the trading party was going to go better.
Yeah, could have been some pretty monstrous stuff there too.
Yeah, but
although you can only
so,
get one tick for each of these, I'm
yes.
pretty sure.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
But yes, I mean that's classic monster of persuading people that you're helping them, reaching out to gently grab their hand to help them in, and then stabbing them in the neck. Osric, how can you think of any monstrous moments from Osric?
I think the most monstrous thing Osric did was probably raising people from the dead just to prove that he could, with no particular purpose in mind.
That is a good point. Yeah, because I was going to say raising from the dead in general isn't necessarily monstrous. Like you could have in it, but make a good case. They didn't even do anything. They just stood there being undead.
Just to show that he could. I think that's the closest he got. Whether that gets an XP or not, I think that's what
do others agree? I think that's pretty monstrous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the wastefulness of it feels.
Are they still there? How long do they last?
That's up to you.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I mean, I guess they last until they. Well, I have no idea how long they last. I know that like Osric can raise the dead to become minions, but I mean that wasn't what he was doing. So I guess until he stopped caring about them, and then they just fell.
You probably just turned
on
around
the floor,
and as soon as you weren't paying attention, they all just immediately crumbled again.
Yeah.
So they didn't even move; they just stood up and collapsed exactly where they were. Oh gosh, yeah. No, I think you got that take. I'm happy with that. And Beepo, how did you act like a monster?
Oh, I just had so much fun on that boat being just. I mean, at some points, nothing more than a distraction, but at other points, actually quite horrific during the boat fight. So I'm taking that 1 XP, I think.
Yeah, I can think of multiple moments in the boat fight that were pretty monstrous from your side. So yeah, no, that makes sense. Particularly the dwarf trying to tear out his own eyes after the evil secrets of the world.
Yeah, that was very
pretty
nice.
Horrifying. And the final question is, did you use the things that you have in creative ways, your gear or supplies or anything? This one I feel like is always the tricky one to hit, isn't it? To be fair, we might get more gear and supplies in time. Did someone use theirs to hide? But I don't know if that's creative. Did anyone use any gear or supplies much, actually?
I mean, a dagger is expressly designed for sticking things, so that's not,
No, for descriptive purpose.
I think I used a smoke bomb as a smoke bomb.
Yeah.
I used one of my poison things as a barter, but that doesn't feel apart from anything, I feel like I'm going to be doing that a lot.
Yeah. I feel like that's quite run of the mill for Slee, isn't it? Like if that was a clever way of dealing with the situation, I'd say yeah. But given that it felt more like here's our regular trade.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I think that's one to remember for next time. Someone's got to try and get this XP trigger for the first time. Cool. So you've all got what you got for those. Yeah, that's a great sentence there, Sam. Good job. Dungeon tier. Yes, that's right. So following on from what I was saying, that raid was not a pillage. It was just a regular old raid to increase your hoard. So you now have a hoard. As it was before, you were basically in an empty stone dungeon underground. Moist, mossy stone dungeon with an ominous throw. And now you have trinkets and things within said dungeon. So the boat that you claimed was primarily shipping food. That was one of your hoard items, so that's great. Slee's very happy, probably. But you did find a few other things. We may make a loot roll or two as well when it comes to it. But generally speaking, there were a few kind of... there was you found in the captain's quarters, who was the dwarf, by the way, at the back, just a very small box with a few little gemstones in it, which I imagine Osric would be very happy about, because Osric likes shiny things. You also found a holy circle, which Beepo will have an excellent time probably defacing in every way possible, of the local religion, which you don't even know what it is. Some light religion, which you don't really care much for, but it's clearly a holy symbol. and a small amount of money as well, which is neither here nor there. It's probably not that interesting to you, but you can have it. So you have some things to adorn the room at the bottom of your sanctum. Thank you, Brain. The sanctum at the bottom of your dungeon now actually has some treasure in it. Go you. And that leaves us at tier 1. And some things happen when your dungeon goes up a tier. And now I have to find that page. So that might take me a moment. Okay, here we go.
I hope it's not that we get invaded by a million
invaders. Increasing dungeon tier. You grow your horde by launching a pillaging. Pillaging raid. No, but
you see, this is why.
Yeah,
I thought the only thing that raised your tier.
But okay. There's a bit in the GM section that says the first raid is the one to get the tier up to tier 1.
Oh, perhaps there's like
I read that so long ago that
buy one get one free, sort of tier 0 to 1.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I don't know.
Gosh, I can't bother to read this already. If I get it wrong, I'm sorry to Wicked Ones aficionados. We've already ruled that this gets us up to tier 1. That's it. we can leave it at that.
Maybe tier 0 is just so bad that any raid gets you to tier 1, but tier 1 to 2 is a bigger.
Yeah, it kind of seems like a tier 0 is you live in a hole in the ground, whereas tier 1 is you now have resources, you can do things. Because you don't have any gold, right?
You're in a hole in the ground with some coins. That's
you had no gold, whereas tier 1 gets you some gold, basically, you can use from the dungeon.
Adventurers aren't going to raid a tier 0 because there's no loot. So.
Okay, so first of all, a discovery. Let me see if I can get to the discovery section. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I should roll some of this beforehand, shouldn't I? So your wet, friendly, bitey imps, always busy in this dungeon, have now that your horde has grown, they clearly sense the need for more. They're like frantically digging away. It's like, when you go somewhere and you see rabbits, there's rabbits there because there's always just holes in the ground everywhere. It starts to feel like that in the dungeon. There's just like little bits, like in the library under the bookshelf. They just started making a small hollow just under there and like all over the place, So that is 6 now. And oh yeah, I've got to roll whether it's a success or not. I forgot about that. And then I roll a 2D because you have no particular reason this should be good or bad to see how good a success this discovery is going to be. It is a critical success. 2 6s. I only rolled 2 dice. That's pretty damn good. So this is going to be some amazing discovery, and then I'm going to roll success discoveries, and I'm just going to make it even better. Wait, yeah, that one. 4.
What rolls are these, by the way?
That's so cool. Sorry.
Are the imps the real wicked one?
So I think you that's so cool. You hear a squealing sound. You're all in the sanctum, and you hear a squealing sound, and then lots of squealing sounds as the imps upstairs, because you usually stay in the sanctum and all that. And then you don't leave the sanctum for this sort of thing. You're all sitting there. Maybe Slee is gorging, and Osric is looking at some shiny things, and Beepo is busy just like stabbing at this religious artifact as best they can. And Tereth is probably just plotting on. I feel like Tereth is probably like trying to draw a map and is like that meme of the guy. Even though you've got like no information to work with yet.
It's got lots of red string. And,
yeah. And very quickly you hear the grinding noise of the body snatcher's knees hobbling down the stairs into your sanctum. And he goes, hey, masters, Osric, quick, you must all come. It's very important. Something has been found by the little creatures.
What is it?
I don't know, but it speaks. It's very big.
It speaks and is big. This is a wonderful news.
Epo will dash frantically into his lair and come back out with a stick, which you're pretty sure he never took in there in the first place.
I love it. So first, well, let's not say where it is because you're going to be able to choose this. So you go upstairs and off an indiscriminate tunnel somewhere. The imps have made a relatively small hole, but they're kind of still pulling it out and looking rather scared because behind it you can hear what is a gigantic, intimidating hissing sound that sounds exactly like a snake hiss, but resonating through a cavern nearby.
Exactly like a snake hiss, or exactly like a snake hiss to them.
No, it's a snake. It's a snake. It's the hiss of a big snake, like the big snake.
Tareth will glance towards Slee and.
Do I speak snake?
As you're wondering this, you hear a voice through the other side of the cavern go, "Who's there? Might we be friends?" And then you see like a giant tongue just go shh in and out of the hole.
Oh, wall snake. Very interesting find.
The imps have kind of stopped pulling it open now, but the hole is like 3 or 4 foot high, so you can kind of peek under and have a look. Who has a look first?
I will.
Sounds good. Slee, the individual on the other side pulls back as you walk through. It is an enormous snake, like 3 foot thick, 30, 40 feet long at least. You can't really tell because coils going into the distance behind you. Easily the sort of snake that could just eat you immediately, and they're smiling at you happily. Friends, I've been alone in here for a long, long time. But for the bats, delicious bats.
That was my next question.
There was a rock slide many years ago. I'm not a good digger, you see. Have you got a way out?
Oh, yeah. Sure you want to go out there, though? There's no bats out there.
Maybe for hunting now and then. You get really tired of bats. I'm assuming the others have kind of come in at this point as well, and all have seen the really giant snake.
Are they
There are plenty of
talking in
people.
a snake language?
They're
or in,
talking.
like-
They're talking dark. You can understand.
Okay, we understandable.
Yeah. You have an air of evilness about you.
Oh, thank you.
I like it. I feel we can be friends.
What's your name, long one, and who do you serve?
You gave us a giant snake friend, Sam. You can't roll your eyes at not having a name.
Well, if you're not going to come up with it, can we come up with something?
Yeah, go for it. I was just making shooting noises in my head until I came up with a good name then. You're welcome to give me a name if you would like to.
All I can think of is Sam the Snake, so someone else, please.
We've already got too many Sams on this.
Sam.
It's Sam, but 3 S's. No.
No, I'm just going to say it.
There will now be a 10-minute break whilst we think of a name.
Slitherax?
Slitherax.
Slipperax. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, Slitherax is pretty good. Is that a th or a p?
Th.
Slitherax.
Yeah.
Love it.
Slitherax.
Okay.
Of course,
I'm
it's a
making a
snake.
note. Yeah. In that case, the snake replies, Slitherax. The third.
We can bring you food, Slitherax, if you will help us defend this place.
I can smell. You do have food, don't you? Bring me a morsel of something tasty and I will tell you all I know.
Are there any imps nearby?
There must be.
Yeah, totally.
Osric is gonna pick an imp and like toss it at this snake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the imps are friendly. The imp doesn't resist. I was gonna say if the imps weren't friendly, I was gonna make you make a roll because they'd be like, but no. The
You
imp's
just
like,
earned
"Yes,
your
master."
monstrous XP there, Sam.
Yeah, fuck these imps.
um, yeah, cool. I do. Can you make a roll for how well you toss it though? I just you're not gonna fail.
Sure.
I just want to see how like awesome the toss is.
I don't think I have anything that's gonna make this awesome. I have finesse. Can I finesse this toss?
Finesse.
Yeah,
them.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try and finesse this
Don't
toss.
bounce the imp off its face.
It's a trick shot.
It's a mix. I rolled a 5 as my best roll.
Okay, well, you toss the imp, and it kind of bounces off the ground a bit, and the snake looks at it for a sec, and then goes and just immediately snuffs it up. And there's a quiet sound as the snake chomps on the little friendly imp, who literally until the snake ate it was still thinking you were totally on side. Just clearly helping.
Osric desperately hopes that was the imp that bit him when we first met him, but has no clue.
You never know. Yeah, the snake goes, rather chewy, but makes a change.
We'll bring more. We'll bring better. I was just a taster.
We have that human food. That's not particularly palatable to us, I don't suppose, but
I was
we're welcome
wondering
to try it.
whether you're going to say humans, as in just corpses, or human food. Because I feel like sleep probably drag the corpses back to it as well, than you sleep.
I think like humans are definitely better fresh.
Makes sense. So they were all eaten on the
maybe, yeah.
Maybe you've got some.
No, you just sort of throw them over.
Maybe you've got some like salted human left or something like that, or you dried them out front.
I mean, I also have the miscellaneous, exotic, unspecified meats.
That's true.
But I don't ask where they come from.
That's true. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Slitherax will go. Yes, I was living among these ruins. Oh, I don't know how long it's been now. But when there were people here, those from above, they deliberately used something that went bang and cracked the earth and the ground and trapped me here. But they didn't kill me. I've been waiting, hoping I could find a way out for quite a long time since then. I thank you for the help you have given me, and I would really love to have vengeance on them. They were short ones. I don't really know the difference between these people from the top, but they were hard, chewy to eat, rather unpalatable.
Well, I feel like everyone would be short compared to you, but...
Short compared to you?
It doesn't sound like humans, because they're a bit too squishy.
Well, short compared to you, except that one over there. Might I know your names, by the way?
I'm Slee.
Tara?
That's right.
They call me Beepo.
The giant snake does a little polite nod at each of you as you say your name. Well, I don't think they were these humans, no, something else. Maybe we can find them and murder them all soon anyway. But before that, I did know some of this place. There may be more magics down below. I think this was somewhere that, well, I know you might have heard there was a great wizard in this valley long ago. This used to be one of their outposts back before, well, the wizard died.
Just died, or were they perhaps murdered, or Was there a rebellion or something like that?
Well, it was before my time, but I hear the wizard blew themselves up in some sort of mystical experiment gone wrong.
Careless. Oh well. I'm sure we will fare better. Osric here is, knowledgeable in these things.
Might I ask a favor?
Look around the group.
Of course.
Not.
Depends.
Asking is always free, long one.
Would you mind getting those little blue things of yours to open up this hole a little more so I could stretch out the scales, as it were?
Very well. But please don't touch my stuff.
Of course. The imps immediately jump to it upon your instruction, seeing that this snake doesn't seem to want to eat all of them immediately. And after a few moments, the hole is opened up to kind of more like, for like 5 or 6 feet across. And out slithers the rather enormous Slitherax, the third. And you can see just how massive he is as he just keeps going past you for what seems like about a minute. And then slithers, I think for a moment looking around, and then finds the way out and then slithers out. And then kind of just slithers around and about the trees if you're watching outside of your dungeon. I think actually maybe slithers up a tree and then the tree just falls over and then kind of just slithers around a few more times, disappears into the rocks a little way away, and then comes back to see you all out the front and goes, that does feel good. Well, perhaps this could be the start of a long and profitable friendship then, eh?
Yes, I think this could be very good. So we will endeavor to assure you are well fed and have everything you need in your abode.
Excellent. I would love to study the magics of this world with you. I see you have already opened up this library.
It's of great interest to me, and say there are more powerful magics in the depths of this place.
Yes.
Try to find them as well.
And there are others in the valley, of course. Anyway, if your imps would like to tunnel out a little bit more for me and perhaps make it a bit more cozy in there, I could stay, help out a bit around here, eat the odd person that comes who is unwelcome, I suppose. And maybe we could even work together in other endeavors as well.
Sounds good to me.
Right.
Beepo's nodding pretty enthusiastically.
I'm happy to leave the scene there of acquiring the giant friendly snake, but if there's anything else any of you specifically wanted to do alone or in groups, I am happy for that.
At some point, I think I might turn this into an action, but at some point I'm going to interrogate Slitherax to who they used to serve.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe I'm going to keep that on kind of a back burner because I might spend some currency and turn that into a thing.
Yeah, that's fine. Obviously, we come up with stories about characters together, but yes, Slitherax will have plenty more to give in conversation and information-wise. So, yeah, that was a rolling critical success on the lair of enormous intelligent snake that seems to want to coexist. So, yeah, Slitherax is super on board, and Slitherax is also pretty powerful. I think I'm going to make Slitherax a tier 2 monster who also you can communicate with and isn't going to go on raids with you, but will help you in the world as well. So you kind of have both sides of it there. We will draw that in a moment, but there might be a few other things to do before we get there. So let's go back up.
Poor John with basically having to fourth bridge his way through the map every other
I
week.
know. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's fine because it can all be just messed with and you don't have to have any commitment to where things go. But also it is kind of annoying because you have to continually redraw that whole damn thing. Well, anyway, we can chat about that. Okay, so add a creature lair equal to your dungeon tier and detail that the creature that inhabits it. Cool. Okay, so whatever creature you want has been discovered in the dungeon. This time you can choose. So let's scroll down to creatures you could have. Denizens. Here we go. Creatures. Oh, wait, no, we should do a roll first of all.
Hang on, is this in addition to?
When you go up a tier, you get another creature.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, this is in addition to the snake. Yes, the snake is an entirely separate thing.
Bargain.
Ooh.
I was somewhat concerned about the defendability of our.
Going to be full of monsters real quick.
Room to move.
I suppose they kind of come with their own space to a certain extent. Here we go. Creature creation. Okay.
Chris, what was the room you added last time? Sorry, what was?
I had made a layer in anticipation of adding some creatures to it later, but I don't know. We'll see how this specific mechanic works out.
That was a minion layer, so that's not creatures.
Minion
that's
layer,
minions.
Yeah.
So that's the sentient things that The snake isn't a minion. The creatures aren't minions. They're like they live at this place, and the snake is a bit exceptional because the snake is sentient. All the others are just like animals or mindless creatures, like the zombie things at the front of your dungeon. The snake is weird because it kind of sits in both, but the snake will not serve you. The snake is kind of living with you. That's how I'm going to play that anyway. And creatures also will not serve you. They're just living with you, but they're not sentient. Okay, so I am happy for any of these things or anything else. The examples it gives here is a basilisk, clockwork warriors, a ghost, giant snapping turtle, which sounds like so much fun, giant scorpion, lava snake, skeleton, sludge monster, swarm of bats, zombie horde. And there's obviously all sorts of extra things that come in. What sort of things do you think you might find in your dungeon? I could always
Slitherax did mention delicious bats.
Yeah, that's true. Slitherax did mention delicious bats. So we're thinking there's some monstrous bats in this place.
That makes delightful sense. I like that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Sounds good. Perfect. Okay. So I could imagine. So there's some extra words to add. You give 2 traits to your bats, the bats in this case: clever, corrupted, corrosive, diseased, incorporeal, flaming, freezing, magical, oozing bat, sneaky, strong, swarming. Well, that sounds like it might be likely. Terrifying, tireless, venomous. But again, they are just examples. So if you wanted to make them, I don't know, wicked,
scrumpulent.
Yeah, scrumpulent. Just really fat. So they just take up the whole spec. That doesn't make any sense. But it's quite adorable if you had, like, I don't know, some sort of bear that was just really fat so people couldn't get past it or something.
I mean, the idea of vampire bats being engorged with them, but where would they get the blood from, though?
I mean, presumably the bats are flying out through a crack in the top of the dungeon.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, otherwise, the Slitherax was living off these bats for a while.
Yes. We have to get the ecosystem right.
Exactly. So the swarm of bats example in this is terrifying and swarming. There's nothing wrong with just going for that.
I think
I was
swarming is a fair shout for bats.
Yeah, it makes sense. Go on, Chris.
And I was going to suggest that, given the scenario and the location, where maybe magical might be fun.
Magical swarming bats. Yeah, I like that
swarming.
That could be fun. I like what 42 said in chat. Delicious. The bats are just delicious.
Love it.
I was going to say oozing because I feel like that might, they bring their own condiment.
Oh, no.
That is John wins on the monstrous for this episode.
Not Slee.
That's a very Slee way of thinking about oozing, though, I think.
And maybe Slitherax.
Oh gosh. I like magical because that's fun to play with too. I like, you can have them, they just teleport around sometimes and stuff like that. That's fun. Swarming magical. Got it. Cool. Okay.
Something else we'll have to ooze. We'll stick oozing on the next one.
And they will be tier 1 because the dungeon is tier 1. I can't remember if the original zombie things came up as tier 0 or tier 1, but whatever that is, I'm just curious, really.
They were tier 1.
They're a tier 1. Yeah, it must be that's the minimum because tier 0 is kind of really weak. So more imps. Imps roll the dungeon tier for their downtime action. Oh yeah, okay. So the imps can do something. I'm gonna find the imp
without
downtime
our
action.
bloody permission, they can't.
They do actually just spontaneously do something as well, which is quite fun. Which can be bad.
They'll sort your stick collection whilst you're not looking.
This is every downtime they do this. It's always hard at work in the background. Okay, so this is just to note we're almost at drawing now anyway. We can start drafting something, but I think the imps, because you didn't really have many tunnels before, like longer stretches of tunnel. I think the imps give you loads more tunnel to play with. So you've got a couple more straight lines you can branch things off now. They've just dug in directions or curved lines. It's fine.
Very useful, friends.
I was a little bit concerned that the original dungeon was a wee bit sort of,
The imps give you the ability to spread your dungeon out. There we go. Okay. Anyway.
John does have the hardest job here, I think.
Back to... Oh, I've lost where I was for the stupid...
I'm thoroughly enjoying the dungeon keeper aspect of this. I really want to build some kind of pits that randomly spawns chickens. I just feel like that's what we need next.
Yeah, we should totally do that. I like that idea.
Just to feed Slitherites. Endless supply of chickens.
Precisely.
In the pit.
Oh, now I'm just sad about... You've made me sad, Chris. I love that game so much.
Here we go. It's such a good game. I know.
I need to look at War for the Overworld. That's a kind of a...
Yeah, pretty fun. Pretty fun. I like it.
Yeah,
It does the above world stuff, and it's actually quite good. Fun how it does the above world stuff. I quite enjoy it. But it's still no Dungeon Keeper. It doesn't have the charm.
In fact, I do remember now seeing that there was a supplement for this game based on War for the Overworld.
Oh, that's quite cool.
So there's kind of a reverse crossover.
Okay, I'm nearly back at the section I need to be in. And there we go. There we go. Increasing to more imps. Yes. So there's also just more imps around now because there's more space. So you're almost stepping on the damn things. You probably are stepping on the things, to be honest, knowing you.
Osric certainly is.
And the last note it has is the power of PCs in Dungeons & Dragons grow. So you are now effectively tier 1. So for the purposes of like interacting with other factions, your significance in the world as well. So from a player perspective, people will know about you now. You're kind of, people will be talking about you in passing. You have means to do certain things. You can now buy stuff. I mean, I know you don't actually have gold yet, but I'm trying to remember because you could use the Horde for gold, I think. So I think you can use up to your tier just to get basic gold for certain things as well, if I remember correctly. So you assume you have that. I'm trying to remember that.
So when do loot rolls come into it? Is that only...
We can do that now.
Oh,
cool. I'm kind of... when the dungeon tier goes up, it's kind of not as part of the phases, so I just put that in because the dungeon tier has gone up. The first thing we're going to do after this is... actually, blowback comes before lurking. So actually, we're going to do the effects of the raid first. But it felt a bit weird to not have you have stuff back at your dungeon. So, yeah, that's weird. Because obviously, we've had time pass now with finding the giant snakes. And then the blowback could have someone showing up immediately following the raid. So I see what you mean. Maybe I should have done the dungeon tier after the lurking. Because that would have made sense for you counting the loot. Anyway, it's a bit strange. The game doesn't specify when your dungeon tier goes up. So I just assumed you got money, so you've gone up. Anyway, it doesn't matter if the blowback doesn't happen.
If the blowback knocks us down a level again.
Anyway, this is what happens when you get lots of mechanics in the game, folks.
Yeah,
I think
after a
if
few
the
more
blowback
cycles.
knocks us down again, then we just sort of
Leave the
wander
valley.
away and go find a new valley.
I mean, the thing is, the blowback tends to be either you're fine or you're dead. You can technically continue to play on after the dungeon is destroyed, but it's pretty much a restart. Usually you don't tend to just have a bit of pillaging and looting and then they leave. So here we go. Well, hopefully the former. So blowback. Raiding the overworld is bound to draw some attention. Before your dungeon appeared, the region was in relative balance, but the added pressure from your attacks start to throw things into chaos. Your incursions will catch up to you sooner or later, and you're going to suffer some blowback. The closer you stick to the raid plans you set out, the more you could minimize this likelihood. You're definitely not welcome on the surface, and while a few monster tribes may be friendly with your dungeon, the vast majority of surface dwellers would love nothing more than to see you dead. After the roaming phase ends, usually just after a raid wraps up, you make a blowback roll, determining how the world immediately responds to your actions during this phase. Depending on your roll, you might suffer minor blowback or major blowback. So, how do we think you did at that raid, which was stealing the boat? Do you think it went completely off the rails? Do you think it went a little bit awry? Do you think it went perfectly? This is a discussion.
No survivors. We got a boat.
Mm-hmm.
I got a meal.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, I think it went fairly. We had a plan. The plan was to get the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me,
couldn't have gone too much better, I think, from our perspective.
I agree.
Body snatcher survived being shoved out of a tree.
That's true. Yep, I agree with that. The main thing for me was there were no survivors. So you managed to kill all of them, which, to be honest, implies there's not going to be a lot of blowback, right? People will be like, where'd that boat go? It could have gone anywhere, rather than, oh, okay, these people did this thing to this boat. So
yeah. We didn't leave any sort of bodies floating in the water, washing up on shores, did we?
There were probably some bodies. But I mean, the point of cleaning bodies is pretty serious, Brad. I'm not going to go after you for that. But also, anything could happen to the bodies, right? They could have just drowned because the boat hit some rocks, I'm going to presume
bite marks are just from fish, maybe.
Yeah,
possibly.
exactly.
Yeah, big fish.
Those human teeth bite marks from the body snatcher. I'm going to assume
tension.
This is probably Tereth thing. Actually, I'll tell you what. Tereth, could you make me a roll to see how well you hid the boat? Because I feel like this would be Tereth's thing. But that's the one thing I could think of, and I'm sure you will have hidden it. But I'm just curious. If this is a total failure, then I might give you less of a
okay.
blowback.
Well, in terms of roles, I suppose Skulk seems the most.
Yeah, it's definitely a skulky sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm only rolling one die, but it's fine. It's fine because I rolled a 6. So
excellent, good job. I was going to say anything but a failure wouldn't have been a problem. So yeah, you've hidden the boat perfectly. As far as you check on it now and then, but as soon as you're 3 feet out from the riverbank, you can't really see it. It's really well hidden in the underbrush.
Nice.
It's kind of a tiny little creek that comes out into the forest. No one would see it. Yep, I'm happy with that. Everything went perfectly, is what I'd say. So I'm going to do a 3 dice roll to see how you do. I'm going to drop my dice on the floor. And there is 1 6, so that is a success. Each PC gains a dark heart. That is the effect of that. There is no blowback.
Good job, everyone, and no weird retconning with the snake situation.
Good stuff. Okay. Now we go into lurking. So now we may want to start thinking about some dungeon drawing stuff, because this may be part of the lurking, but we don't have to rush into it immediately. I'll be curious to hear what folks' plans are generally first for their sort of lurking phase. Anyone got any immediate ideas they want to share?
Osric was planning to do something else, but having heard that there were potentially magical things in the depths of this place, it's planning to dig down another layer.
Well, what you mean by that is order the imps to just go digging.
Yeah. Osric would never dig himself.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Cool. Okay, I'll tell you what I might do then. I might give you a chance of discovery and weight it slightly towards finding a magical thing, because that's your downtime action. You're just ordering. What are you going on? Are you just going in a random direction, or are you trying to find information? Are you asking the snake? Are you, or
I wonder. I mean, you can decide on this, but if Osric has some kind of sense of where magical power is, some feeling of where magical power might be
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
from, and would attempt to use that to dig in the direction that he feels like it
Yeah, I like that.
might be.
So I want you to make me a roll to see how well you do at. So make it basically, is it channeling the roll for magical stuff?
I think invoke.
Invoke, that's the one thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just make me an invoke and see how you do. And you can
I think
spend
that's-
if you want to.
He has good invoke. So, what does a dark heart do again?
It just gives you an extra dice if you spend it.
I'm gonna spend it because I have 2 dark hearts, and I feel like I get bad stuff if I go into the next bit with 2 dark hearts. So
Yeah, that's true. And we also, I should remember to do revelry as well, but we'll do this first. I'm just doing things slightly out of order.
that was not a good roll, but I did get a mix. I rolled a 1, a 1, and a 2, and a 5. So thank God for the dark heart.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Okay. So I will bank that, and we'll come back to you because I should do things in the proper lurking order, and I'm already jumping ahead with down 10 actions. But I'll remember you got a mix on your searching for magical directions.
Very nice.
So at the beginning of your lurking phase, you clear all stress, shock, and the bloodied condition. I should do this properly. So any of those things that you had can be removed. Any abilities, defenses, rooms, or gear that are usable once per cycle reset. Your dungeon automatically attracts a creature if you've lost them, which you haven't. Now, counting loot. You hold back any loot you gathered and heft it onto the hoard. We talked about that a bit. Each player then makes a loot roll to find out what you do with it. This is to count the gold, find cool stuff in the loot, and enjoy some revelry, which fills your dark hearts. You roll dice equal to the amount of loot that you hold from your last raid.
Yeah, this is page 256, I think.
Yeah, 2.5, that's right. Thank you. Because they put that in a separate section to where the actual thing it's talking about is.
Yes.
Very helpfully. Thank you. Because now basically we have to decide how much loot you think you've actually got. Oh yeah, loot's trapped with the GMs are either way, that's right. But I think it's per person as well. I don't think it's
Yeah, there's a loot roll per person, but
per person. So I'm expected to track how each person has for the +1. That's ridiculous.
Well, there's a roll per person. I don't know whether I was kind of presuming that the roll would be the same for everyone, but
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, I was going to give
one.
I was going to give Slee an extra roll because Slee did grab the person with the shiny thing. But anyway, you all get 1 dice because you've targeted a faction with a higher tier. Each tier the faction is above your dungeon tier. Okay. So you're each going to get.
This was just a boat, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to make this Riverton, but they're not Riverton. They're a boat from Riverton. So I'm going to say they're only a tier 1. But when you did the raid, you were tier 0. So that still gives you +1. So you've got, each of you have 2 dice to roll. And then Slee got a good source of loot because Slee grabbed the shiny thing that the person was swimming away with. So Slee gets an extra 1. And there were no adventures. So that is that. There goes another dice. Oh, I can see that one.
My dice keep falling into my tablet glove. It's gotta. They keep falling into there. I need to take it off every time I roll dice.
Oh.
Okay, so everyone gets 2 dice except for John, who gets 3 dice to roll for your loot. And then tell me how you all did.
Well, someone's grumpy.
And you can get critical, obviously, which gets you really cool items.
I rolled a 6.
Okay, so success for John. How's everyone else done?
Right, okay, yeah. Well, obviously, everybody else got to the loot before I did because I rolled 2 1s. So.
A failure. You gain a dark heart or give morality or minion pack. Can you gain a dark heart?
I can gain a dark. I only have 1 currently, so I can gain a dark heart.
Well, that's good because if you couldn't, then you would have overdone it.
Yes. And I don't have a minion pack yet, so.
So yes, you gain a dark heart. How did you do, Sam? Or Chris? No, you're on mute first, Chris. Go, Chris.
I got a mixed.
Okay. You gain 1 gold. Or you can spend it on revelry if you want to, but probably keep the gold for now. And Sam?
I failed. I rolled 2 2s.
Okay, so you gain a dark heart or give morale to your minion pack.
Do the minions have morale or not morale, or do they have levels of morale?
You see, I had this question. The book doesn't specify.
I think, looking at the character sheet, I think it's just binary. I think they either have morale or they don't. There's only one little square.
Yeah, there is only one, but it does confuse me
Yeah.
because some of the others have a cross thing. But I think that's only for XP. So I
Okay.
agree with
I can
Tarek. The
check
game
that.
plays them simply, so let's keep it just to one.
At least as I have it recorded on my sheet, my minion already has morale, so I'm going to take a dark heart.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I remember you didn't use it. That's right. Okay, so the only person who got anything that was special was John. So John, you pull a mundane or valuable item from the loot. Feel free to have a look at that if you have time. You can choose whatever you like from mundane or powerful or valuable items. It's kind of open with what they can be, so feel free to just make something that you would like, basically, as long as it's not super powerful. Cool. Okay, well, we'll give... It's got a bit about finding items here as well, yeah. It's funny as well, because it says your choice of a mundane or valuable item, and then it says a valuable item is something a little rarer you'd be surprised to find. It might be a few doses of a tier 1 potion or a concoction or a tier 1 contraption or magic item. I'm like, well, why would you ever choose a mundane item then? If you could choose either, I don't understand. Anyway.
I suppose because items are contextual, so while it might be nice to find a rare pocket watch, it might be useful to find a mundane short sword.
Yeah, true, you're right. It's like, that's a cool thing to have, but how am I going to use it? Okay, so we've covered Sam's downtime action a little bit. We'll go back to him when he's back on again. Has anyone got any other ideas? We'll leave John off for now. Chris, do you have any idea what Beeper might do for a downtime action?
I don't really know. I wonder, do I go and find my minions this session? I think, is it okay to do that? Is that an okay thing to do? Okay. So I think Beepo will be kind of out, not so much patrolling, but just investigating the woods, kind of back down towards the south of the map. Not far, just like about 10 minutes walk away. And we'll maybe pick up the scent of a ragtag bunch of kobolds who had also made this journey in our wake. And we'll probably try and assert dominance over them and bring them into the folds.
Maybe they're a group of ragged kobolds who also fled the disaster at the last dungeon and just didn't know where to go.
That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah. And maybe instinct or some evil force brought them to us as well.
I like it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so it's always funny, do you do the scene first or do you roll first and then play out a scene, depending? I think I'd like to see you in the forest, maybe how do you know they're coming after you, first of all? It sounds like you kind of have a feeling they're coming.
Yeah, the Beepo doesn't know how Beepo knows. Like, this is something has just taken him out of the dungeon. Some maybe force, maybe it's instinct, maybe it's something more sinister and occult, but he's gone a wandering.
Okay, I like it. Okay, so you're in the woodlands. It's still kind of in that creepy fog, not far from the dungeon here, and you hear like a chittering sound in the bushes nearby. This sounds like a few small creatures rapidly dashing away from you.
I probably recognize kind of the sound and will kind of. I think I would recognize the sound of kobolds chattering. So I think I'd call out, "Halt! Halt and show yourselves, dark brothers."
A group of 6 starving, decrepit, slightly diseased, and pretty terrified looking kobolds kind of come out of the shadows, just like, please don't hurt us. Please, we just smelt things from this way. You're one of us.
No, not quite. Not quite. My name is Beepo. And now I have given you my name. You owe me, and therefore you serve me, and you serve the goddess Malawi. Follow me.
I think it's time for that roll. How are you making this roll? Is this an invoke, or is this going to be like a more?
That's a threaten. I think that's a threaten.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
That's 3 dice. I was going to spend my dark heart on this, but I might. That's 3 dice up to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want the critical, and do I think I need that? I might need that dark heart later. I'll keep it to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, mixed 5.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. That's okay. So, I think what happens is I'll play out. So the kind of the one who talked to you earlier goes, yes, we will, and kind of looks around slightly shiftily. The others goes, we will follow you. Yes, we will, and does a little like bow thing, and then moves to follow you. But I would like you to give me a scan roll.
I don't have any dots in this, if memory serves. So it's 1 dice, isn't it?
It's if you have zero dots, then
it's 2 dice, and you pick the worst.
Yeah, but you will be able to get practice.
Yeah, I think I'll take the practice rather than spending the dark heart.
You can still.
Oh, I rolled.
Hand.
I rolled a 6 and a 5, so I'm happy. That is mixed.
Good stuff. Okay, in that case, just before you see one of the other little creatures, one of the other little kobolds, they're smaller than you, these ones, looks like they're trying to pickpocket you, and you catch their hand just before they're about to steal your gold.
Ooh.
I was just so hungry, please, no.
I should probably make an example of them, but I'm going to maybe just stop short of breaking their sanity. So I will probably, like, Beepo was not carrying anything, but he hits them with the stick he's been carrying.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is that trying to like injure them or just go away you?
I'd say it's more of an intimidate rather than a physical attack. So I'm not aiming to injure, but definitely aiming to.
Well, you know what? This sounds like a second chance to me because you're trying to intimidate again. So roll me one more intimidate, and if you succeed at this one, you can have the minions, and if you don't, then you're going to have to do something else to get them as your minion back.
So I get them mixed before. So am I still in the kind of?
This is another threat. This is another intimidate, and it's effectively a do-over because of the situation. You have another opportunity to prove your might to them.
Cool. And this is once again threaten, which is once again 3 dice, and that is a critical, a success. Sorry, not a critical.
Yeah, that's fine. I describe how you could kind of tell that they weren't convinced. They were following you more because they thought there was tasty things in this direction. Describe how you show your power to them, and completely intimidate them into following you at this point when they've not taken you seriously.
Yeah, so basically Beepo from like he was not carrying a stick, and then all of a sudden he was carrying a stick, and will turn right after beating this one just a little bit senseless with it. We'll go, fools and cretins, behold the chosen stick of Malawi, the keeper of secrets. You will keep this secret and follow me obediently, or you will die here like dogs. Follow Beepo. Let's go. There's food.
I think at the end of your words,
such a roller coaster. I love it.
At the end of your words, there's kind of a silence among them all as they kind of echo among the trees for a moment, and then they all go, yes, and just follow you through the forest immediately. And you have a little group of 6 kobold minions to follow you. And there is a section on what traits we can give them. So let's zoom down to there and see if I can find the damn thing. No, I've gone too far. It's not there. Blowback, raiding, pillaging. Now it's going to be in the lurking phase. Nearly there, folks. Oh, the lurking's the top one. That's why it's confusing me, because we're doing it out of order. Here we go. Got it. Where does it say what your minions get? Okay, fine. I'm going to come back to this. Someone find me where it tells you how to recruit a minion and what traits they get, and we'll go to Steve. Steve, what downtime action did you want to make?
I was just about to look at minions. Okay.
Oh well, yeah, that's good too. I'll tell you what. We cut to Sam, who's helping dig with some imps, and Steve, your job is to find the minion section because you might want to actually get some minion too. To be fair, Sam, Osric, what's your? No, you've already signed your downtime action. You're digging with the imps. You rolled a mixed. Is that right? I think it was a mixed. Pretty sure it was a mix.
Maybe,
Okay,
maybe.
So yeah, we're going to give you
maybe a failure. I've been rolling very badly.
I think it was a mixed. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a failure. So we're going to roll a mixed on the discovery thing. Oh my god, this book is so big. Discovery. There we go. Thank you. We'll go to that in a minute.
He's really just searching for more magical stuff.
Yeah, I've got you.
Has led him to believe.
First of all, I'm going to roll to see from my side because that gives you an amount of dice to roll for a discovery. Let's see how well you do. Okay, so that is a mixed. To be fair to you, a mixed discovery is what you've got from your mixed success. Then let's roll on this and see if we get some magical things because these are fun. No, that's pretty boring. Let's not go for that. No, we're not having that one. Why are you giving me the same number that I just rolled? There's so many numbers to roll. Oh, yeah, you'll like that. You'll like that. That's great. Okay, so I think you've dug, you're trying to dig, down maybe. Probably not far from the sanctum, kind of off to one side. Just seeing what you find, following your instincts. And there's, that thrumming that's everywhere. It's not more obvious in front of you, but you can kind of feel like it's centered somehow in front of you. And one of the little imps in front of you, you're kind of, how are you making the imps dig here? I'd like to hear Osric's encouragement.
I think Osric is not being friendly towards the imps. Does not have a good relationship in general with these imps, and is like, dig, you worthless morons, dig. And it's just, kind of pointing in the direction, occasionally a little kick or something to,
It's worth saying they're doing a great job of digging and following your instructions, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Osric does not care. They could be doing better, and that's what counts. And it's occasionally kicking them or hitting them to, get them to dig a little bit, 2% faster. That's worth it. That's worth a slap from Osric or whatever it takes.
Makes sense. The cavern opens, or a bit of wall collapses in front of the imps, crushes one to death. It just doesn't matter. And immediately upon this it's just a small hole like this big, you could only just get your hand through. A dazzling light shines out directly at you. The imps all cower back in sudden panic.
Osric kind of pushes the imps back, get away. This is mine. And we'll take a close look, but unless it's something immediately that appears to be dangerous, we'll grab out at this shining light.
Well, you can't really tell. It's so bright in there. It seems to be an open space inside. You there's nothing immediately for you to grab. Effectively, there's a hollow cavern space on the inside of this somehow, and there's just a bright light you can't even see properly, because you're in the murk and the dark of this dungeon, of course. Okay, it's kind of a blue tinged, odd, magical light.
If Osric cannot reach whatever is causing this light, I think he's gonna kind of get the imps back in and be like, dig. I need this.
They look nervous because they're all the dark, decrepit dwellers. They're and they're kind of closing their eyes and doing this, digging away frantically. One of them is just whacking another one in the head because they're not watching what they're doing. You can imagine. You're muted, Sam. You're muted. Sam, you're muted.
Osric will slightly redirect whatever they're hitting the other one with. Like,
I love it. Got it. Okay.
Not
Well,
worried about the imp's safety, but is worried about how efficiently they're digging. So
absolutely. Well, quite quickly, the imps open up a space big enough for you to see what's going on. Your eyes start to adjust to this. Quickly, you realize that there are large, what appear to be natural, maybe natural, crystals jutting out from the wall of. It actually appears like a natural cavern, like they're almost a mineral formation, but they're definitely shining with a bright light that you wouldn't think of as natural. There's something magical here. You don't know what it is. I mean, crystals don't just light themselves up. But for what it's worth, this is a dazzling sight. If you come around the corner to see this, it's going to like blind you for a moment as well.
Wonderful. This is what we needed. This could be the source of the power in this whole dungeon. I think Osric, on seeing this, might go and get Beepo to be like, look at this. This is where we live. We have this power next to our sanctum.
Sounds strange, doesn't it?
Strange, but powerful, Beepo. Powerful.
Power comes at a cost. What is its cost?
Imps, I think.
Imps. Maybe human lives, but it's a price we can pay, Beepo. The power here is tangible. I can feel it. It's what we need.
Of course, neither of you have any idea what they are or what they do.
It seems cool.
Yeah, of course. I want to play into Osric's dark impulse here and just say it doesn't. I don't know if it's really going to have any particular impact, but I feel like Osric can't leave this cave for like a long time and is just like caressing the crystals and studying them for days.
Yeah, maybe trying to get some that he can take with him.
It's
like
worth
chipping
saying
them off or whatever.
It's worth saying they don't. They're like completely solid. They're like diamond. You don't seem to be able to take them out of it at all.
That just makes it worse for Osric. I must have these.
Perfect. I love it. Okay, that's Osric's downtime. We've done Beepo's. Minions. We looked up what page it was, didn't we? What page was it?
Page 194.
194. Thank you very much. Okay, creating minions. Minion packs 2 to 5. Screw you, they're 6. I already said 6. What race are they? Kobolds. So you got these things you can note down, Chris, for yourself somewhere, because I ain't keeping track of your minions. What job are they filling? I mean, this is effectively what type are they? So examples would be acolytes, alchemists, builders, cutthroats, envoys, grunts, mages, miners, priests, raiders, scouts, thieves, trappers, tricksters, witches, workers. But they can be anything you want, they could just be like warriors.
I think they are 100% combat acolytes.
Cool. Acolytes. I'm happy with that. Sounds good. If I remember correctly, there is actually an upgrade you can give your minions, which you might not be able to get now, which is to do with them being like literal religious acolytes of your religion, but yours aren't that immediately. I think it might be one of your things as part of being a zealot.
I'll read into that for next session because I do recall. Yeah. It's nice when the build comes together, isn't it?
You can have your little religious fanatics. So now you can choose their primary and secondary actions, which is basically there's a little carrot sheet for the minion pack. I think I sent it around somewhere, but you can just note this down. It's basically which action they have 2 points in and which one they have 1 point in of the usual scan, tinker, trick, finesse, skulk, smash, banter, invoke, and threaten. So maybe.
So it was 2 and
one has 2 points,
and one has 1
and
point.
2 of them have 1 point. And then they have a dark impulse. The examples are addicted, aggressive, disloyal, greedy, impatient, lazy, moody, or superstitious?
I feel given the history, I think disloyal makes the most sense. I kind of
That
like
was
the
what I was
idea
going to
that they're
suggest. Mm.
they're a bit they're a bit unruly, and they may sometimes get ideas above their station.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That sounds good. And then you can choose to pay for upgrades, but we can play that out a bit later, I think, probably.
Yeah, let's do that later. I'm not.
Cool. Okay. So, downtime actions. We've still got Slee and Tereth. And yeah, I'm going to dice because dice are fun. Tereth, Steve, what would you like? Have you got any ideas of what your downtime action was going to be?
Well, I'm kind of split between doing something room or trap based because so we've got 2 minion layers now.
Yeah, so those are now
one
full with
original
Osric's
one and
minions and Beepo's minions.
Yeah. we have a big snake that's kind of knocking around but doesn't have anywhere particular to
We'll do it at some
live.
point. We'll draw
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's going to be like a natural cavern off to the side, basically.
Yeah, we've still to add the snake's cavern and the crystal cavern and wherever the bats are. I assume
And the
bats
tunnels.
are.
Everywhere.
And the tunnels.
Oh, okay. Because I'm a little bit concerned. It was going to be, as I say, room or trap based, or go off and find some information. But I think, looking at things, I think we need some more traps. I think we need either a guard room to ensure that we have minions in the appropriate places, but I think going with my instinct, I'm thinking blades. I'm thinking spring-loaded blades.
Oh, yeah.
Down a long corridor. We can fit them in somewhere. But yes, some sort of nice, very sharp trap.
Are you imagining sort of blades?
I'm imagining chunks of adventurers just sort of scattering in a
Perfect. So okay, there's kind of lots of different types. Are we thinking like a great big swinging blade sort of thing comes from the ceiling? Are we thinking just a slingshot that throws a buttload of knives at people? Kind of what sort of bladed murder device?
Well, really, you kind of the most satisfaction is if they see it coming. So I think maybe down a long corridor, some sort of spring-loaded blade, like sweeping blade, maybe spring-loaded like cheese wire that just sort of rushes down at neck height down the corridor.
I love the cheese wire idea. That sounds great. Okay. Spring-loaded cheese wire that just goes across the corridor. Yeah. That's perfect. Okay.
As long as we don't get caught in it.
Well, what could ever? I can't imagine any calamity that might possibly cause something like that to happen. Perfect. Cool. Okay, so traps. Let me find the trap section, but that sounds ideal. So is this going to be a tier 1, which would just be a roll, or are you starting a clock to do something more significant? Would you like a more serious trap?
More serious. I think, tier 2 sounds.
Yeah, sounds good.
We're not just pissing around with a bit of string here. We want style and sophistication.
Sounds good. So on a clock then, so a success I think fills 2 clock ticks, a critical fills 3, and then I think a mix fills 1 if I remember correctly. So go ahead and make a tinker roll.
I should have thought this through. Really,
I mean,
I should have thought.
The imps don't know how to make traps. You are having to tell them how to make a trap.
Oh my god, getting ideas above me station. Yes, I have 0 in tinker.
Well, you get a chance to get some XP.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, so roll 2 dice, take the worst one. So Tereth will have all of these sort of wonderful ideas sort of buzzing around in his horned head.
I love it.
But obviously try to describe these to the. Actually, that's not bad. I rolled 2 5s. I rolled double 5.
Oh, there you go. Mixed. Okay, so you've got 1 of 4 clock ticks done. Nice.
Okay, cool.
So that is well on the way to being complete. What do you want? Do you want it to be kind of just like a pressure plate sort of thing set off the trap, or something magical, or perhaps like there's some sort of other sensor, or I don't know,
I think sound based. Adventurers call out.
Okay, I like that. Cool. Okay. So I feel like there's almost something to make adventurers call out there. Maybe like a pretend hollow in the ground or something. So they go, "Hey, watch out for this," and then that yell sets it off.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I like that. Okay. So
John's made a face.
Go on.
You put a pressure plate down. The pressure plate doesn't do anything. You put a pressure plate down. They say, "Watch out for the pressure plate."
A decoy! Yes!
Genius. Okay.
Devious.
Steve, if you could make a note of this, because it's not on the map yet, it's in construction, but if you can make a note of the design, and then once it's complete, we can put it on the map properly. Anyone else can now contribute to the working on this in their downtime actions if they want. You can also spend gold to make this happen faster. And if anyone, I don't think any of you will because you're not the Tinkerer class, but if any of you did have a special skill to work on the trap, feel free to use it. Cool, sounds good. Slee, John, what's Slee's downtime action maybe going to be then?
Slee was also thinking some sort of dungeon defense thing. But Slee isn't really a tinkerer. Slee is a tricker.
Love it.
So I want to put in... I have a few ideas for tricks that I want to do. One of them, which is a future plan and not what I'm doing now, is I want to put something big and shiny and very distracting in the library that will confuse people when they walk in and distract them so that everyone else can gang up on them.
Okay, love it.
Probably with some kind of a riddle that they need to argue about. But that's in the future. Right now, I've basically looked at the entryway, and the cordyceps are quite slow and shuffly, and I think they can be very easily outrun. So I want to put a fake door at the bottom of the stairs so that you come down the main flight of stairs and then go, oh, the way forward is down into this little grotto.
I like that. Yeah.
You have to go down.
I love it.
So yeah, I want a door that looks like a part of the wall.
I see. And then you could maybe make the locked door on the end of the bridge the hard to get through one, and then the other door is like either open or easy to get. People like, oh look, we could go that way. We don't have to worry about this door. And jumped on by that. It's clever. I like it. Okay. Well, that sounds like a simple one. I think that's tier 1, unless you want to make it super badass. Tier 2. Then you could make it tier 2. If it was tier 2, I'd say it had to have something more to it, like a magical thing or something to make it really convincing.
I will stick with tier 1 because hopefully there may be something further down to get
sounds good.
Steps.
I must admit, I still feel like this is a tinker roll unless you can give me a case that it's something else, because you're still kind of designing something that's physically being built. But I'm up for another argument to be made.
I mean, I know.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I was gonna, in John's defense, I was gonna say painting and decorating is not engineering.
Yes, the imps already know how to make a door. We know they do because we've got a door on our secret tunnel.
This is true. Okay, what role are you wanting to make?
I want to make a trick because the trick is making it look like a piece of wall.
You're trying to imagine the process of tricking. Yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah, go for it. You can roll a trick.
Cool. So that's just my normal 2 dice. I'm going to spend a dark heart to get another dice.
Yeah, go for it.
I forgot about my dark heart.
And I rolled a 6.
Perfect. Yeah, so you well, it's success. So yes, there's no downside whatsoever. You just succeed at making said trap exactly as you want. So I think, do all traps have a description they come with, or is it only some traps? I can't remember. Now it's completed.
I think it's not a trap, it's a trick.
Sorry, trick. Change my...
And they do appear to have... Trick may be something like the following, with the method and intent listed after each example in parenthesis.
Yeah. Method, yeah. So you have method, trigger, and intent. That's what you have with the trick. So it doesn't have necessarily other things. So yeah, that's quite simple. Method is a false doorway. And the trigger is they see it. That's easy enough. And intent is to make them go off the wrong direction. That's fair. I think that's simple. And it's a tier 1 trick.
And I already know it's there.
Perfect.
Why is my pen so faint?
Good stuff. I'll make a note nonetheless. Fake door to quadriceps. Cool. I wonder if I spelled quadriceps right. Is that everyone's downtimes then? Cool. Good stuff. Let me go back to my plan. I think we're about there. So folks, I think it might be time for the calamity phase. Yay. Let me get to the description of calamity because I think it does a really good job of it.
Sounds perfectly relaxing.
What could possibly be bad about calamity? Here we go. Dungeons are messy conglomerations of minions pressed into service, creatures layering in their confines and a maze of tunnels throughout. They're filled with traps and tricks in a haphazard fashion. Things are bound to go wrong eventually. After each lurking phase, the GM rolls to see if your dungeon managed to avoid any calamity during the phase. The number of dice rolled is determined by the amount of grumbling from the denizens of your dungeon. Now, I have thought I was going to make the case that I think there's quite a lot of grumbling coming from the denizens of your dungeon because you've freshly recruited both of them. And your body snatcher is, well, he likes the necromancy. He's not necessarily particularly loyal yet. And your kobolds pack is specifically disloyal and have only just showed up and are starving and sickly. So I would make the case that you only have a 1 dice for this calamity roll. But what are your thoughts?
This is not going to help us, but I should point out that the body snatcher is also specifically disloyal.
I was wondering whether we were starting to go for a theme, like any minion we hire is just disloyal.
I feel like this is definitely encouraging me with a 1 dice roll here.
This is called the Starscream envelope.
I'm sure Sam's just going to roll a 6 and everything will be fine.
It'll be fine.
But Slitherax is our friend.
That's true. Slitherax is your friend. Slitherax will not help with other dungeon problems. Okay, then. Also, there's also the question of does your dungeon make logical sense to the minions? But I feel like it's kind of fine, really. That is a 4 is a mixed success, isn't it? Yes, that's how it works. So mixed for the calamity. What does a mixed mean? You suffer a minor calamity. Okay. Let me roll 2 dice, find out what might be happening, because this is fun. Okay, so you are down in your sanctum. As always, when all of a sudden there is an almighty crash from above and a yelp.
Can we recognize what sort of yelp? Is it imp yelp or is it kobold yelp? Or is can we tell?
It's the yelp of a decrepit old human.
I'll sigh and
Osric.
It's not my. Don't blame me. He's old. I guess I'll go have a look.
See what he's doing. Yeah,
he's probably fallen over or something. That's what he does. He'll be all
right. Osric, as you come out the sanctum and wander through the library, you can hear a sort of like coming from towards the entrance of the sanctum. Sorry, of the dungeon.
That's really cool. What's wrong, Body Snatcher? You okay?
as you wander that way, you see in front of you an almighty mess as you go through the doorway before the bridge. The bridge has completely collapsed, and from down below is coming the sound of your unhappy body snatcher.
Ah, it's not one thing; it's another. I think Osric will go and get the rest of his party. I think he feels that
Yeah,
the bridge to our sanctum to our dungeon has collapsed. It's a thing people want to know about. The bridge has collapsed. Probably the minions messing with it. I don't know. That body snatcher's down there, but I'm sure he'll be fine.
He's like slowly crawling out with one of his legs like bloodied and mangled.
It does give me an idea, though.
From adversary opportunity, is it, Terith?
Well, it is a long way down, isn't it? That's maybe if we dig a bit further, add some spikes, that could be.
It'll be right under the water, so they won't see it coming.
True.
Well, they'd have to go past those mushroom men in order to come back up.
So in a moment of adversary, everyone becomes an engineer, I see.
I'd like to point out that none of you can get out of the dungeon without fixing this bridge, though.
Oh, can't we?
Not without much difficulty.
That puts a damper on things.
Well, come on, get some of these shelves torn down. I'm going to have to use them for the wood.
And I would like someone to make me a tinker roll to fix the bridge. You can help.
No, tinker
but
again.
Someone else can help for an extra dice.
Does anyone actually have Tinker in this group?
No, but remind me, how many times do you have to get practice? It's 3 times.
I think it's
if
3 and
practice
you'll
to
get a point in it, yeah.
Yeah. I would like. Do I get a point in trying if I help?
No, it's going to be the person who leads.
So I either want to be the one rolling it or the one. I suppose it doesn't matter if I help.
I mean, if you've all got 0, it literally doesn't matter.
And is it only? Do you only get 1 practice XP per box per session? Can you make like 3 tinker rolls in the
as
same?
many times as you use it. There's no restriction to that.
So this is less a question of who's got the highest Tinker, and more a question of who most wants to.
I mean, also who might be willing to spend dark arts. And
I've got dark art. I can spend dark arts. So,
okay. So Terith will. That sounds good. I would. And who wants to help? Just thematically speaking, I like to imagine 2 of you just turning around me and going, "Oh, this isn't my problem," and someone staying.
I want to help. I think Beepo's got some engineering in him.
Osric's frustrated and just abandons the stupid body snatcher to his fate.
I think Osric's more concerned about the bookshelves. Doesn't want the bookshelves to be too. Gotta keep the books safe.
They're just like,
don't touch that one. No. That's got important books in it. Leave that one. Take the other one.
Amazing.
We don't need the books. We need the shelf that can live on the floor.
No, that they can't live on the floor. The imps will eat them or whatever the imps do. I don't know what they do.
I mean, if you're choosing the shelves, if you're choosing the shelves, that's kind of helping, right?
Not these shelves. These shelves we need. Take the other ones.
Change of plan. We fill the hole with the books.
Not the books. We need the books more than the shelves.
Exactly. We need the shelves.
Fill the hole with imps for all I care, but not.
Go on then. You're right. I'd like a power struggle between Osric and Beepo. This is too much fun.
Yeah. How does this work again?
Whatever skill you want to use, whatever you're on a roll off to get the other person to do your bidding, you just have to persuade us that that's a feasible roll.
Let me see now.
I have no clue. Maybe I think. I'm not really threatening. Banter? Is banter allowed?
Yeah. But this is a bantery situation. I think you're in a conversation, so banter's the most logical first choice.
I have 1 in banter.
I have 1 in the skill I'm going to use, which is trick, because Beepo is absolutely not going to be putting any books in the hole. He just wants to get a little bit of he just wants to get one over on Osric.
Sounds good.
Who I think, I think I have a grudge against Osric, do I?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, both Slee... Was it no? Beepo
It was
and...
Slee versus Beepo was the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
struggle.
Okay. So nothing for Osric. Okay.
I'm gonna use a dark heart because I have to.
I did see that
It
said
just
6
disappeared, but
briefly.
I did see a 6.
Oh, damn it! It was
So
a
that's
6.
a 6 from Beepo.
I rolled a 6 and a 5. So
Wow. How does that work?
How does this work?
now what, Sam? Now what?
Well, what happens is you roll off again because I can't think of a logical way for this to play out.
Well, in fairness, Sam spent the dark heart, so I will opt that Sam wins out.
Okay, I'm happy with that. That's fine. I was also going to say I was going to play off on Osric's obsessed dark impulse here and say if you don't win this, you're going to have to fight. So that's fine.
Oh god, I don't think Osric's winning a fight against Beepo. To be honest with you,
I think Beepo, you might even see that Osric is to the point of like violence that he's not going to let you damage these things. So you kind of back down in the feeling that you've won morally.
Yeah, I'm happy with the moral victory that I've made him into a bit of a nervous wreck.
Yeah, I think Osric is clinging to the books a little bit pathetically, like, please, stop my books.
I love it.
Tarath just sort of stood behind with the slightly smiling mask, just observing this interaction.
Yeah, so go on, John.
I am watching the body snatcher as he crawls out of the wreckage. Maybe with the occasional, are you all right? You're okay?
Oh, that's true. That's an actual mechanic. Your body snatcher is bloodied now, Sam, by the way. That was the actual one of the things from the minor calamity. So he will need time to rest. Well, 2 of them and he's dead.
I mean, that's kind of why Slee is watching the body snatcher, because if he's not going to survive
then he doesn't need. Yeah.
Why let him go to waste?
Yeah. He's probably crawled his way back up now and is just sitting on the far side of the bridge, just like poking at his leg.
If presented the choice between saving the books and saving the body snatcher of being eaten by Slee, Osric is choosing the books. We'll see.
The books in the incomplete library, which currently serve you no purpose, rather than your minion.
Is it? We can get another body snatcher.
This is wicked one, Sam. I mean, it's.
So you managed to scrounge together some bits and bobs of like old decrepit wood from the bridge that collapsed itself, rather than using the shelves, much to Osric's comfort, and shoddily repair, but functionally repair this bridge, mostly obviously by yelling and poking at the imps to do things.
I haven't even made. Do you want a roll? Or...
Oh yeah, sorry, we didn't do the actual roll for actually fixing the damn thing. Yeah. So
we can perhaps roll trick to trick you into thinking that we.
So you have nothing. So you're minus.
I have nothing.
So
it would be yes, but Beepo is helping,
and
so that's one. Yeah, and I'm using a dark art. So 2 dice, I suppose.
Yep.
There's no reroll mechanic in this game, is there?
No, there is no reroll mechanic. Although there is a thing where one of the characters can make. Oh, it's your.
Oh, that was me, but I can't do that to myself.
Yeah.
I rolled a 3 and a 5. So
mixed. Okay. Basically, it's messy and it doesn't look great, and it takes you a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you any negative consequence other than maybe it's just embarrassing. And I know what my negative consequence will be. You feel like you're not doing the best job of ordering this, and bits keep collapsing, and it makes you feel a bit awkward. And I think your big mouth playoff is going to be to try and make yourself feel better. You're going to poke a bit at Osric because he was clearly feeling crap about those books and those shelves and all possessive. So unless you're going to resist and take a stress, you will have to actively upset Osric with your big mouth dark impulse.
Okay.
But if you do, you will gain a dark card.
I just spent one, so that would be kind of handy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. How to approach this?
Are you going to? What's your choice?
I think I'm going to.
So, Osric, are you like, while this is going on, almost like clutching the books and looking over them, like, because you're like, don't touch my precious.
I think Osric is moving the books that I don't think Osric fully understands 95% of these books. He's gonna move the ones that he sees as important, like to shelves that are like further away from the bridge. He's gonna be like grabbing books off this shelf, putting them over on another shelf, moving books that he sees as like not worth as much back to the shelf that people might, for some reason, take to make a bridge with. I mean, I don't know.
So I think, yes. So the bridge is sort of built again, or being built by the imps. So Tereth would sort of sweep over when other people are kind of distracted and have gone off. Again, smiling mask. And I'd come over to Osric with sort of shuffling books around, and I would say, have you forgotten what we're here for? Look at this stuff. Why are you coveting these ridiculous things? Look, that's a recipe book. Just
because you can read it.
Focus on the bigger picture. Put aside this ridiculous petty. We have time. We've got the Wizard's Tower. This place has been ransacked already. This is nothing. This is insignificant. This is pathetic. Forget this trash and concentrate on the bigger picture. Don't disappoint me. Good. I keep wanting to say good God. I need to say I need some curses to
bad gods.
Yeah. Awful, horrific, abominable gods.
These human traits, they're pathetic.
I think Osric will definitely be slightly cowed by this, especially in the situation he finds himself in, where we take a bit of introspection and slowly put the recipe book back on the shelf. I don't understand these books as well as you, Tereth, but I know there's knowledge in them. I'm trying to save what I can. It could be useful to us one day.
Well, yes. Let us. We can spend the time. We can collect and study, but let us not let our impulses rule our actions. That is dangerous. That will lead us to distraction. And I'll realize that I've just been doing that.
You've been doing exactly that, yeah.
I've only been seeking greater power from which I gain strength and power, Tereth. I know I've gone too far. I don't understand these books, but I want to, and one day I will.
I love it. Perfect, cool. I would 100% want you to know something, Osric, about Tereth being mean to you. I don't know how you want to know that. You got muted.
I'm going to write down that Tereth's been mean to me.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. It's worth saying, John, you did point out as well that our revelry. We did have a revelry earlier, but we kind of skipped over what you were actually all doing. But it is worth saying that you all enjoyed your own individual revelries, which in Beepo's case was the occult. Tereth's case is gambling. Slee's case was craving. What do you think your craving was, Slee?
Meat. Obviously.
Meat. Like,
Food, some drink.
Mm-hmm. And Osric's case was also the occult. Yeah, love it. Okay, so we'll probably do a bit more roleplay of that next time. Apologies, but basically enjoying those things. Cool. Okay, so that is our calamity. That was good. I enjoyed that. Okay. Now, my cliffhanger ending for the episode. You are all down your sanctum, as you are supposed to be. And none of you are aware of this because you're down your sanctum. However, you also are the dungeon. And this happens quite soon after the bridge is fixed. There is a figure standing outside your dungeon. A figure not of flesh and blood. A figure not standing on two legs at all, but a figure that looks oddly leafy. It's like some sort of mutated mobile plant creature, and it seems to be here with malicious intent. And we shall end the roleplay session there. Yes, I have invented a plant person adventurer.
Okay, right. I was
Is
going to
this-
spoil the mood by asking if it was hopping.
I haven't thought of how they're moving yet. We'll get there.
Is this
It's
our
literally
blowback?
a shrubbery.
Yes. This is the blowback from the first round. Yes, from the vampire.
Okay. A tree did not take kindly to us using it as
It's the tree.
a sabotage point.
So next session we can start with a dungeon raid and we can test out your traps and things. So we might have a quick think beforehand of where we want to put all these things, but we can maybe do that on chat on the channel on live next session, to be honest, have a bit of a think about repositioning things. But you and me can chat beforehand if you want, John. So it's easy.
Yeah. I'm just thinking drawing all of it in the moment might be a bit.
I'll tell you what, let's do it off camera and then we could always discuss it a bit on, because we could always agree in the background. Anyway, we can chat about this afterwards. Cool. Now, before I forget XP, we need to redo XP for this session. And hilariously, I realize I've read the whole book and I've been through everything, but I've entirely forgotten what the XP that you get actually can be used for. I don't know if anyone's actually looked at spending any XP yet. Has anyone done that?
I think you can only spend it when you fill a track.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
kinda
so. Yes,
assuming we
Wicked
need
XP
to-
and Reckless XP. So the Wicked XP trackers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 9.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, you're still a wee way off getting that filled. Cool. Is anyone close to there yet?
I'm
I've just
on
got
6.
4 points, I think. Oh, get you.
Very nice.
I've been
So,
very
yeah.
monstrous.
Yeah, you have done a good job of being monstrous. That's true. Cool. Okay, and let's go to the advancement section, and we can ask ourselves these questions again. So, have you made progress towards the master plan? Now, this is a bit, you haven't done a raid this session, so I feel like I'd rather individual cases if they think they've, the intention here of, I'll find the note I made on your master plan here. The valley is a source of liquid blight and death. Lemmings and alcohol. That's what we have as the master plan. Now, of course, previous session, you increased the dungeon tier, which is absolutely part of that. But can anyone think of having done that this session on an individual basis?
I feel like, I don't know if it's of the master plan, but I definitely feel like getting some acolytes is definitely on Beepo's personal development tracker.
Yeah, I think that's probably the closest, because that's significantly increasing your power level, right? So on an individual basis, I could go for that. Go on, take that. I'm happy with that. Anyone else got any raises?
I think if anything, Osric's moved backwards because his minion is now all bloodied. What's the process for the minion becoming unbloodied? Is that also at the next
revelry?
lurking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although he might not join you on the raid, to be fair. It's not automatically joins you on every raid. So you could choose. Okay, so that sounds like a no for anyone else on the master plan. Dungeon scenes. Jumped into others' dungeon scenes. How did you help fill time between raids and invasions with interesting cuts of monster life? I feel like everyone's probably got a case to make in this, so we'll go around. John, do you think you added to dungeon life there?
I mean, I added a fake door, but I don't think I really. I don't think so. To be honest,
I think it was a good idea, but it wasn't a role play thing. So yeah.
No.
Mhm. Okay, no problem. Sam, you got stuff.
I think maybe to the bridge breaking scene, but not in a positive way for the group. But
Oh, there was the.
This isn't
the
positive.
crystal
This is just
eating.
good role play.
okay.
I like the sort of the being obsessed by glowing crystals.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I also that was you had both the bridge breaking, being obsessed with your books, and the being obsessed with crystals in there. Yeah, I like that. I also think you add something to the dungeon by specifically wanting to hunt down the magic. That was quite cool, following on from the thing the snake had said. So yeah, you can have an XP for that. Lots of little
Nice.
bits. Did I actually note down the glowing crystal cavern? I feel like I didn't. I did not. Dazzling crystal cavern. Chris, what do you think for dungeon roleplay scenes?
Yeah, I think I was definitely involved. Thanks to Sam for looping me into the glowing crystal situation, and also in the having a great deal of fun with this little misdirection, verbal sparring during the bridge debacle.
Yeah, I agree with that. I very much enjoyed that little competition by the bridge, so I'll give you one for that as well. Sounds good. Terrace?
I think the rating Osric was.
It was a good bit
enjoyed
of
that.
berating, although I'm slightly tempted to push that one towards you acting like a monster rather than the dungeon scene one. It depends if you've got a better idea for the monster one, though. I don't want to steal that from you. Just because it was so unnecessarily mean.
I think the only other thing I did was sort of just trap related, but that was kind of fairly introspective and
Yeah. So take that one as the monster one then. I think that's fair.
okay.
All the dice escapes. Anyone else got raises on monster as well, or is that it? Do we think? Acting like a monster.
Tossing an innocent minion to the jaws
Oh yeah,
of a
you
giant.
did. Yeah, that's absolutely monster. Yeah.
Yay!
I'm not gonna take one on this. I don't think I did anything specifically kind of unhinged and kobold like this session.
You
I think I was being too cunning this time. I think.
Yeah, for example, in your recruitment, you were very nice to them. Really, you didn't beat one of them to death to demonstrate your prowess or anything like that. So yeah. Anyone else got any monstrous things? We good? Cool. And gear and supply, we'll just skip over that one. Okay, I think that's it. People have got their practice XP ticked, haven't they? And it's just reckless XP. Cool. I think that's us all good then. I did want to ask, John, did you choose your item, by the way, John? Or are you
I
still
couldn't
working
really
on it?
think of what to. Cause I can't find a list of like example items. So other than
No.
looking at my gear, I can't really think of anything.
I mean, do all of the characters come with items? I can't
Yeah.
remember. So
There are
kind of-
suggestions, but
Yeah, kind of a look through all of the different suggestions. I mean, that's the thing. In the different sections, it gives like ideas for things, doesn't it? So
might have to break out some other rule books, different systems, find nice item tables in. That might give a bit of inspiration.
Yeah, so it's interesting how the game works for this. So they're like all items kind of function single use. So you can have things that provide defense against certain things. So defense against minion mistakes, detection, magic, lying, wounds, enemy movement, containment, all that sort of thing. So that's one idea. So if there's something like that require useful defense, and then there's things that do other actions. So like weapons, these don't give attack, but they'd allow you to do cool stuff.
I feel like I should raise that I do have the stick down as my item, but in the interest, I'm using it now more as a meme than as an actual item, and I'm going to keep doing that until someone tells me that I'm breaking the game by doing
No,
that.
that's fine. That's fine. As soon as you get a really cool use of that stick, you're 100% getting that point. So, cool. Well, anyway, sorry, I'm just sitting here in the silence reading the book. I know that's probably not a good stream thing to watch.
So John, you're on
different type of
6
Yes.
XP now, are you? Right.
Mhm.
I think I'm on 5.
Get in there.
How-
So when
how-
you get to the end of that, you can get a new talent thing or whatever it's called from your or any of the classes, if I remember correctly, can't you? So that's quite cool. Anyway, we'll finish up here because we're all streamed down, and I've actually remembered to do XP at the end, which I'm happy about. So cool.
It's coming together.
Yeah, it's coming together, isn't it? I'm looking forward to doing a bit more dungeon stuff next session. We can have a raid and actual adventurer coming at you. I'm going to have to read the adventurer's rules because they're the only thing that I roll for. Because usually the rolls, other than like, engagement and stuff like that, the rolls are just you. And then if you fail a roll, you get hit by your opponent you're fighting if you're in a fight. Whereas the adventurers actually have moves and stuff they can do and help hit points. So that should be fun. I'm quite looking forward to that. And they're a plant in this case.
I mean, I know there's a whole system about this, but once we get further into this, I'm 100% taking this dungeon, and maybe we can run a D&D one shot where we're trying to overcome it with all of that, or if I can find some people who haven't seen it.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I would love that. It's almost more fun to do it with us who have seen it, because it's not like we're going to meta game. It's quite fun to like experience it in that context.
You could, if you were going to go full sort of scheme, have 2 parties, two groups of players, one playing adventurers, and just do it, because the whole thing with Blades in the Dark and Forge in the Dark is faction-based sort of shenanigans. So
now you made me wish we came up with this idea before and we'd had some really epic plan for this. Oh no.
Season 2, it's fine.
Yeah, you're right. We can do that next season. It's just lofty goals. Cool. Are there any chats or other things to read out then, John? And apologies in advance. Apologies for the things that I probably forgot and messed up in that session, because that's going to keep happening. There's lots to do in the system. Just imagining one of those convenience store name tags that reads, "My name is Beepo, now you serve me." Let's do.
I'm actually very proud of myself for coming up with that very Malawi compliant way, because you're not supposed to give knowledge for free. So I've kind of trapped them into debt servitude by basically signing them up to a cult they've no idea they're in yet.
I love it. I'm quite looking forward to having a few small scenes of just like Beepo convincing these kobolds to join the cult and worship Malawi like fully. That's gonna be quite fun.
We're going to have to set up like a shrine room or something in the dungeon, aren't we?
100%. Yeah. I know you didn't choose the religious thingy, but you can still totally have a religious room. Yeah, true. Terrifying curse. I think good God is a pretty bad cuss for a demon.
That is pretty much everything. We referenced this on stream, but
yeah, I love that 42. I mean, I still kind of regret that we didn't just make them delicious. That's such a funny concept to me. I love the idea that that's a benefit for you somehow. Like,
I'd love to
show up
find.
and
You
they
just have to find a way to work that in as a benefit.
Yeah, they just can't resist. They're just like, they just do seem tasty.
They're just so Moorish.
Like
maybe they're compelled to chase after them or something.
Yeah. I just can't stop eating these bats. What's going on?
Thank you to Two Live for Crew, Bill Chack, and Jace Marden as well for all of your follows.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for joining us, folks. We are Telling Tales. Come check out other things we do on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We'll be back in 2 weeks on Thursday, most likely, for the next session of Wicked Ones. So, and check out all our media, other bits and bobs below. Patreon. We've got a great Discord with lots of folks on there. So, come take a look. Thanks for joining us. Take care. Bye.